What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Realistic Crew. This is episode number 68, and we're coming off a pretty positive episode 67. Two league wins, as well as victory over Burnley in the FA Cup as we progress to the next round of that competition. We're looking quite good. All things considered, we're on quite a good run at the moment. We're sat at the top of the league table, although there is plenty of time to go. 14 games left, and as we look at the replays from round 4 before we find out our opponents for round 5, you would have seen Luton smashed West Ham 5-0. United also getting knocked out in a replay as well. So a couple of shocks there. As we look at the round 5 draw, we face Chelsea away, Stamford Bridge. It's not been a happy hunting ground for us. We have some decent games there, some tight games, but we will face Chelsea in the 5th round of the FA Cup. But before that, a few league games for you today in episode 68 as we face Brentford, Crystal Palace and Arsenal. It's an all-London affair. We are in the capital for a couple of games as we take on Brentford in the first game, a side who are struggling at the moment. Brentford sat in 19th place. They fell into the drop zone because our game is a later one compared to everyone else in the match day. So the Bees can move out of the relegation zone with a win, but obviously we are the favourites. But you know how it goes in career mode. When you face a team that's in the relegation zone that have only won a couple of games all season, you struggle against them. And unfortunately, that is just how FIFA goes sometimes. You could face, like in this career mode, we've faced the likes of United and Man City in particular, two top teams who I never feel like there's that gap between us and them in these fixtures. Whereas when I play the teams that are struggling, I struggle more. It's crazy to me. I'd almost rather play Man City than a Southampton or a Brentford. But you obviously have to play everyone twice in the Premier League, and we are hosting Brentford after beating them at the G-Tech Stadium earlier in the season. And just a quick mention on Thomas Frank's side. In real life, we're 2 games into the league, into the 2023-24 season, and Brentford have been impressive as they were towards the back end of last season. They are doing well without the suspended Ivan Toney. He is out until January. Brian Mbeumo and Visser have been absolutely smashing it for the Bees in Toney's stead, and they've been playing really well. They drew with Tottenham on the opening day before beating Fulham comfortably at Craven Cottage. And Frank's side look good. Better more so than in this career mode, that is for sure. Well, they would take a 1-0 lead. I don't know if you would have noticed it as well. They came up with a stat that the Brentford are the lowest scoring teams, which is very ironic because they took a 1-0 lead. And on the 25-minute mark, it would be 2. A couple of sloppy goals. The first one, a shot that rebounded and was and then was put into an empty net. And the second one, this header here, Simican does not paint himself in a good picture here. Daka has the initial shot, and the former Leicester man has the drive to get ahead of our new signing, and he rises above Simican to head home our second. Maybe Henderson could have done better as well, and the Bees were buzzing here, and I was took for surprise, I'll be honest. I was expecting this half game despite Brentford's position, but I still expected to win this game. And well, on the half an hour mark, Brentford would have a corner. We would work on the counter-attack, and it would be vital if we could get a goal just before half-time. Lodi finds Adeyemi, and the German bags, and he has just slotted into this team seamlessly. He has not had any time to adjust. He has just come straight into the side, replacing Sayankov brilliantly. Well, going into the second half, it would not be the start I was hoping for. Brentford would restore their 2-goal lead with a lofted finish. Not really much power, but it obviously had the accuracy to beat Dean Henderson. And with half an hour to go, we find ourselves 2-1 down. And well, from another counter-attack, Adeyemi has a great chance to halve the deficit again. But, well, we were just singing his praises. He puts this shot wide. A big miss that. I was absolutely baffled that went wide. We take off Brennan Johnson and bring on Alexander Isak, and the Swede is immediately involved with a great chance here, but the keeper saves it straight down his throat, to be fair. And then after a couple more saves, Jacob Ramsey being one of them, he finds Nico Williams, the Spaniard, and he makes no mistake. We're finding a lot of space in behind Brentford's defence. Despite them being 3-1 up at the time, they continued to push forward, and we exploited those gaps. And Nico Williams, having just made it 3-2, had a great chance to make it 3-all, but his Travella shot is well saved. Our foot well and truly on the gas now, though. And, well, this guy, I mean, I ran out of superlatives for him. He has just scored a bicycle kick from a corner, not even his first this season. He scored a bicycle kick from a corner away at Fulham earlier in the campaign. He scores a bicycle kick. Taiwo Awoniyi, the Golden Boot leader right now, looking to make it 3 in 4 seasons for him, 3 in a row. He makes it 3-3, and then we have a chance actually. Isak with a finding the ball on a cutback. He gets a shot off, but it's saved. And then in the dying seconds, Brentford going down the other end. Vissa, we mentioned how dangerous he is. He tries to cut it back rather than shooting. Kilman reads it, gets it out, and the ref blows full time. A 6-goal thriller at the City ground. It ends 3-3. A disappointing result considering the league positions of both our teams. Obviously, we are top at the moment. Brentford second bottom. To concede 3 goals to the side with who have scored the fewest goals is disappointing for sure. But in hindsight, we were 3-1 down. We scored twice in the last 10 minutes and managed to snatch a draw. Not a fantastic result, but at least we haven't lost and we remain top, but now just level on points with Liverpool and ahead on goal difference, a significant goal difference, 20 goals ahead of them. The Bees remain in 19th despite that point, but they are tied with the 2 teams above them on 20 points. Southampton in last. It looks pretty bleak for the Saints. They are just on 11 points. Going into our second game of the episode, Crystal Palace. We head to South London to Selhurst Park, where Roy Hodgson's side will take on our Nottingham Forest, a side who are in the relegation battle along with Brentford. So once again, we know it will not be an easy game, but we cannot afford to make those same mistakes where we let Brentford walk all over us the first 45, 50 minutes before we finally woke up. We have to start strong in this one in London if we want to stay top of the league table. And 6 minutes in, that's exactly what we did. A lovely worked goal. Brennan Johnson picking up yet another assist. Taiwo Awoniyi picking up yet another goal. It's 1-0 to Forest with a brilliant finish. And Taiwo in real life is in incredible form right now. I think he's scored, before Chris Wood's winner against Sheffield United, he had scored the last, it's either 6 or 8 goals for Forest. He's been in an incredible form towards the back end of last season and to the start of this season. Taiwo Awoniyi, it's great to see him doing well in real life. Obviously, we're a big fan of him on the career mode. Well, he would pick up an assist, a lovely little headed ball onto Brennan Johnson, and the Welshman fires home. And Johnson himself is the target of plenty of transfer rumours at the moment. Tottenham, Chelsea and West Ham all interested in it's crazy to think he's just 22 years old. So much potential, Brennan. I wonder, let me know in the comments, do you think Johnson leaves the City ground before the transfer window closes, or do you think he stays? I think personally he will be a Forest player at the end of the window. Well, we would be 3-0 up just before the break. Nico Williams with a nice finish, and then Palace would get that goal. And we are scoring plenty of goals, but we aren't keeping many clean sheets recently. I think it's been about 7 or 8 games since our last clean sheet. We need to work on that. We'd kept 9 clean sheets in the early stages of the season in the Premier League. We haven't kept many since. With 20 minutes to go, we make a triple substitution. Calvin Phillips coming on, taking Ryan Yates' place. With the game seemingly done, I want to make a couple of subs so they are fresh for the Arsenal game coming up in a few days' time. We would hit the post late on, and then Williams, working the ball well, would keep the ball well. He would find Maxime Lopez, who would release a shot which crashes off the bar. So close to making it 4, but we don't manage to do so. And then Pepe, with a nice bit of footwork, the Palace forward, managed to wriggle his way through. And then Douglas Luiz, a former Villa man, his shot is well saved by Dean Henderson. And Palace have a corner in the last few seconds of the game. It's headed out, and we get back to winning ways after the draw with Brentford. We return to winning ways. A comfortable 3-1 victory away at Palace. All the goals in the first half. The second half was quite a quiet affair. Seems like both teams had accepted the fate of the result already. And that's a good response. And, that's the sort of response champions are made of. You drop points at home in a game you should win. You go out and you win your next game. And that's how you silence the critics. And we've just bounced back brilliantly this season when we have had a couple of downfalls. I mean, we've only lost 3 games and I think drawn 5. So we haven't had to bounce back too often. But when we have done it really well. And Forest once again pick up a win and remain top of the table. As Nathan Noble comes to us and says he's gassed that he's been getting so much game time. And to be honest, Noble's been a brilliant addition since coming back from his loan. He has been a good player to bring off the bench, and I like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. 75 rated, I think, now already, the youngster. As we see the bottom of the table there, Palace still in trouble, along with Norwich and Brentford. Like I said, it looks like Southampton are already down. But we are tied with level on points with Liverpool, and then we both have a 4-point gap to Chelsea in third. So very tight this Premier League season going into the last couple of months. And then looking at the round of 16, so the preliminary round fixtures have now been played between the teams that finished third in the Champions League and second in the Europa League groups. And we will face French side Olympique Marseille in the round of 16. That will be a tasty one for sure. But before that, you can see those fixtures will come in March. A tough run of fixtures, actually. Chelsea in the Cup, Man City in the league, and then the two ties against Marseille in the last 16. We will have to rotate the team well. But before those games, before we get into March, we get into the third and final game of the episode. And as you can tell by the title, Game of the Season, and this is it. We always seem to have decent fixtures against Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. They're a side who press high, they attack well, and they always seem to score goals as well. Gabby Jesus up top is clinical for the Gunners. So I knew this was going to be a tight affair. But we're thriving right now. We're top of the league. We are feeling good, and I feel confident playing anyone at the moment. As we look at this Arsenal side, Kim Min-jae, obviously at Bayern Munich in real life, he signed for the Gunners in the game. He is a quality centre-back, still led by Saka, Odegaard and Jesus, with a former Leeds winger Sinisterra out on the left. Well, it would be the Gunners who would be intercepted 6 minutes in, and then Taiwo Awoniyi feeding Brennan Johnson, but his shot goes just wide. What a great chance for those two to link up once again. I've lost track now how many goals they have combined for, and that should have been one. We love an early goal in this team, and we should have had a goal there. From the resulting goal kick, it gets fed back, and we put Ramsdale under pressure. The high press, we try and counter Arsenal's high press with our own high press, and we force them into mistake. From the resulting throw-in, Williams plays it back to Simican. Simican back to Williams, to his namesake, Nico Williams, the Welsh fullback. He plays it to the Spaniard. He gets the byline, cuts it back to Taiwo Awoniyi. Come on. 11 minutes in, we have that early goal once again, just like at Palace. Taiwo opens the scoring, and this guy cannot be stopped. He is ruthless in front of goal as he hunts for his third golden boot in a row. Well, just a few minutes later, and the Gunners would look to respond very quickly, and they would force Dean Henderson into a fantastic save. Gabby Jesus having his first and not his last shot of the game. Tchouaméni, the French midfielder, would then find Jesus with a brilliant through ball, but Dean Henderson once again saves from the Brazilian as the ball ricochets onto the post. Odegaard would have a good chance though. He pulls it back before they actually win a penalty. I misread this one. Saka giving the ball on the byline. I slid in with Kilman thinking he was going to shoot. He cut it back and he is taken out. And Gabby Jesus has the chance to level 12 yards out, but it's saved by Dean Henderson. Fantastic save by the shot stopper, and we still lead 1-0. This has been a fantastic response by Arsenal since going a goal down. They have dominated us, but we still lead 1-0, and we would lead 1-0 going into the break. 5 minutes into the second half, and we're looking to add to our lead if we can. We work the ball well from back to front. Lovely play in between the players down the left side in particular. Adeyemi swings in the ball, and Nico Williams with his head. He doesn't score many headers, the Spaniard, but he gives us a 2-0 lead here. Lovely football from Forest, actually. We work it from Dean Henderson all the way down the left side. Lovely link up between Adeyemi and Taiwo. Adeyemi puts in the cross, and it's a great header from Nico Williams, and we lead 2-0. But just a few minutes later, Gabby Jesus would get his goal. He'd been denied 3 times already by Dean Henderson, but he would not be denied a fourth, and the deficit is halved. And with 12 minutes to go, there are plenty of subs made, including Arsenal taking off Bukayo Saka and bringing on Raul de Thomas. We bring on Alexander Isak as well for us. And then straight from that throw-in, de Thomas sets up Gabby Jesus, and the Brazilian has his second of the game. And all of a sudden, Arsenal are level. I can't say from out of nowhere because they have played really well in spells, but I thought I was just seeing out the game in the second half. And talking about seeing out, I thought that ball was going out for a goal kick. He managed to get to the ball, Sinisterra, and de Thomas has scored. And Arsenal lead from 2-0 down. I was 2-0 up in the second half. Arsenal now lead 3-2 with just a few minutes to go, and I couldn't believe what I was staring at. a potential second game in the episode where we drop points. But I was like, nah, I'm not having this. Nico Williams cuts it back to Taiwo Awoniyi, 88th minute. Taiwo bags his second of the game with a lovely finish, and we are tied at 3-3. But you just had a feeling there was one more twist in the tail. In the 91st minute, we have 4 minutes added on. Gabby Jesus slides in recklessly and picks up his second yellow of the game, and that is his red. What a game he's had. Missed a penalty, scored twice, denied countless times by Dean Henderson, and now a red card. 2 minutes left to play. We have a man advantage. Can we make it count? Lopez into Taiwo Awoniyi. He's got a bit of space. Taiwo! Come on! This guy is outrageous. He is outrageous. I don't know what else to say about him. 93rd minute, hat-trick goal, 4-3 Forest. This guy, you cannot give him an inch of space in the box. What a finish. Oh man, this guy is out. He's just our star. He is our star. He is on course to win his third golden boot in a row in the Premier League. That his 28th goal in 27 games. Outrageous from the Nigerian, and he has just been fantastic from us. We led 2-0. We were down 3-2 with just a few minutes to go. Somehow, some way, we have turned it on its head. And I said it at the start of the episode when we drew with Brentford. I'll say it again. This is what champions are made of. When your back's against the wall and the pressure is on, what can you do to deliver? Well, how about that? I mean, the questions have to be asked because we were 2-0 up in that game. We weren't cruising, but the fact that we were losing 3-2, that's not good enough. And that's something we have to look at ourselves. You know, our defending and our clean sheets have been non-existent recently. But now it's just moments like that when we have strikers like Johnson, like Isak, and like Taiwo up the top, we can bag goals. And well, we got a victory there, and we lead Liverpool by 3 points. Although the Reds do have a game in hand, 11 games to go in the Premier League, and we are in this title hunt. Can we do it? Let me know in the comments. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop it a like, and I'll see you in episode 69 very soon.